Hey y'all, it's Harry back, and I wanted to talk today about what kind of where my mind has been in the last week or two, or maybe even a little longer. I think maybe before I mentioned a little bit about imposter syndrome, and I've kind of delved a little bit into that of basically what am I feeling right now? Because right now, all of these changes, we're 3.5 months in ish, okay, and the changes that I'm seeing are becoming very real. Like before, it's like, okay, if I stop now, my voice would be fine, like not many differences. Now it's like, okay, like you have hair on your face, that's gonna be there. You have a lot of hair on your legs, that's gonna be there. Your voice is lower, that's gonna be there. And so it's become a little bit more real. And so with that, I thought it was imposter syndrome, and there's definitely there is some of that. But I think at the root of this is there's a little bit of a grief and a grieving and a mourning process going on. I found myself feeling at times anxious, at times just sad, and feeling like I should cry and I want to cry, but I don't know why. I haven't really wanted to be around people, not that we really can right now with all of the social isolation of self-quarantining, essentially. But I've just really needed to process, and I know that's one of those things for me that I process internally, and so that is usually done alone, and I don't want to be around people, and I don't want to have to, I'm very inward on that. And so kind of what when I was driving and it hit me that, like, I'm grieving something right now. And it feels really weird to say that because you watch videos of people grieving or mourning after like a loss of a family member or whatever, a friend, or even animals and stuff. And it's hard to imagine myself in that position. And I don't know if that's the same for all of you, but it's really hard to imagine myself in that position of being the person that is outwardly showing that emotion. And even inwardly, like, what does that look like for me? And I'm realizing that for me in this process, I'm mourning a couple of things. Mostly, though, it's the person that I was and the person I never got to be. And let me kind of describe that a little bit better and clarify. So by the person that I never got to be, what I mean by that is, I'm becoming the person I want to be. The person that I thought I've always been, right? That male identified figure. And that is super exciting. It's super scary to have all of that responsibility and like really have to own it and have that confidence. That is beyond terrifying. But there's also this mourning of like, well, why couldn't I just have been a girl? Like, why couldn't I make that work? Why do I have to go through all of this to be the person that I'm supposed to be? Like, why couldn't I have just been that stereotypical girl who liked insert stereotypical female thing, was perfectly fine with that, liked their chest, liked everything, that felt okay in their body. Like, why isn't that me? Like, that sucks. That freaking sucks that, like, I have to do this. And I can be positive. I think, I wouldn't change my experience for the world. I know that this is making me significantly better of a person. But it still freaking sucks, right? And it's hard to grasp that, like, I'm starting to see, look at people and I'm like, why is that their story and that's not mine? And then there's also this grieving of like, because the changes are becoming permanent and like this is becoming so much more real that I am having to let go of who I was. Like, it was always, I'm going to say safe, but it was familiar. Everything about my female life was familiar. My birth name was familiar. It still is familiar. The role I took in social context was familiar. Basically, try not to be seen or have attention drawn to me. How I presented to the world was just, please don't look at me. Please don't acknowledge my existence. It's okay. And I wasn't happy with that. That's not comfortable for me. It's just familiar. And so I have to relearn all of these things, and that's hard. But it's also letting go of who that was. Like letting go of all of that stuff. And at the core, yeah, I'm still that same person. I understand that, and I know that I am still that same person. But it's also so hard to comprehend that I am still that same person, even though I'm not. The world is viewing me completely differently. And so, yeah, there's like this weird conflicting emotion of feeling like confident and yes, I can do this and this is exciting, mixed with I'm scared as hell and it sucks that I'm doing this and it's hard and who I was is no longer and can no longer be. Like, so I live in the state of Ohio, and in Ohio, you have to be residing there for a full year before you can change your name or gender markers. And in a couple of days, I'm at that year mark. I can change my name legally. And that's a huge step. Like, the old name, like that's, it's going away. Not really, but it is. And it makes it feel so permanent. Like, to step forward and start doing that, like, this is real, y'all. Like, you think that, like, injecting yourself with testosterone every week, that's, real, right? It's not real. It's not real at first. Now it's real when I look down and there's a bunch of hair around where I used to have not hair on my thigh. Or when I take my shirt off and there's hair on my stomach and my chest. Or, when I look in the mirror and after 2 days, I've got stubble. That's the real shit. It wasn't the injections at first, it's the injections now. And what do I do with it now? Like, I hate to admit it, but I'm getting anxiety doing my injections. I didn't have anxiety at first, it was easy. It was fine, I did it. Now I know what it's doing. And I like it. Don't get me wrong, I like it. But it's still like a change, and it's still so much more real, and I'm having to comprehend and grapple with that more than I ever did before. Because before it was just a thought. It was like, I think I'd like that. Now it's like, it really is happening. So I guess that's where I've been. I don't know how long this process is. I think being able for me to articulate that it is a grieving process, and I'm mourning a little bit of who I was, I think that helps to explain things, and so for me, it makes it a little bit easier. And hopefully, I won't be stuck in this in-between stage for as long. This, paralyzation, shall we say. I hope. I don't know. I don't know where this is going to take us. And I know that with everything else that's going on in the world, the stress is magnified by 100,000 million, whatever. And it's a good time to have that inward reflectivity, but it's also scary. Because I'm going to come out of this a different person. I haven't seen my parents since the first week of me on testosterone. They're going to be in for a shock, I guess. Talked to them a little bit on the phone. I haven't said anything. So, yeah, it becomes that much more real. I have to do this, and I have to commit. It's commitment at this point. Can't take it back. It's scary. That's all I'm going to say. I guess that was a little bit of a serious time. So, everything else is going great. As you can tell, it's fine. So, I hope you all have a great day, and we'll catch up later. See you now.